My name is Elena Morales, and even now, 2 years later, the memory of that day still stings. But let's rewind a bit. I was 26, practically buzzing with energy. A self-taught tech was who lived and breathed code. My brother, Javier, and I had started a company together, Morales Tech Solutions. It was our baby, born from late-night brainstorming sessions and fueled by countless cups of coffee. Javier, older by 5 years, was the charismatic face of the company, the one who charmed investors and landed deals. I was the brains behind the operation, the one who built the software, solved the problems, and kept the whole thing running smoothly. We were a team, or so I thought. Morales Tech Solutions wasn't just some random startup, it was built on a foundation of family history. Our grandfather had been a small business owner, and our father had always dreamed of creating something lasting. Javier and I were carrying on that legacy, building something together that would make our family proud. We specialized in creating software solutions for local businesses, helping them streamline their operations and reach new customers. I remember the early days, crammed into a tiny office space above a laundromat, fueled by ramen noodles and the unwavering belief that we were going to change the world, or at least, the business landscape of our small town. Javier handled the business development side, securing clients and managing the finances, while I focused on the technical aspects, designing and developing the software. We complemented each other perfectly, or so I believed then. We were a team, a family, bound by blood and a shared dream. Everything felt right, exciting, and full of potential. The future seemed bright, filled with endless possibilities. Then, everything changed. The change wasn't sudden. It was a gradual shift, like the slow creep of a vine, slowly strangling the life out of something beautiful. Javier started making decisions without consulting me, small things at first, like changing the office furniture or hiring new staff without my input. Then the decisions grew bolder, more significant. He started taking credit for my ideas, presenting them to clients as his own. When I confronted him, he'd brush it off, saying it was just business, nothing personal. But it felt deeply personal. The day it all came crashing down, I walked into a board meeting to find a room full of unfamiliar faces. Javier announced that he'd secured a new round of funding and restructured the company. He then calmly informed me that my role was being redefined. Redefined, it turned out, meant eliminated. He offered me a severance package, a paltry sum that barely covered my living expenses for a few months. I was stunned, speechless. The room seemed to spin around me. I looked at Javier, my brother, my business partner, and saw a stranger. His eyes were cold, devoid of any emotion. He didn't even seem sorry. It was a clean, calculated move. As I walked out of that office, clutching the severance agreement like a lifeline, I felt a wave of emotions wash over me. Shock, disbelief, anger, and a crushing sense of betrayal. How could he do this to me? To us? To the company we built together? The family legacy we were supposed to uphold? That night, I didn't sleep. I replayed the events of the day over and over in my head, trying to make sense of it all. Had I missed the signs? Had I been too naive, too trusting? The answer, I realized, was yes. Javier had been planning this for months, slowly pushing me out, positioning himself as the sole leader of Morales Tech Solutions. The hurt was immense, a deep ache in my chest that wouldn't go away. I felt like I had lost everything, my job, my company, and my brother. But amidst the pain and confusion, a spark of something else ignited within me, determination. I wouldn't let him win. I would prove him wrong. I would build something even better, something that would make him regret the day he betrayed me. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford. My mind raced, filled with ideas, strategies, and a burning desire to make Javier regret his decision. The severance package sat untouched on my desk. It represented his pity, his attempt to silence me. I refused to be silenced. I spent the next few weeks holed up in my apartment, fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower. I devoured books on business strategy, market analysis, and venture capital. I knew I couldn't just build another company, I had to build a better one. I had to be smarter, more innovative, and more ruthless. The anger I felt towards Javier was a powerful motivator. It pushed me to work harder, to think more creatively, and to take risks I wouldn't have considered before. It was a dark energy, but I channeled it into something productive, something constructive. It was like turning pain into power. I started networking, reaching out to former colleagues, industry experts, and potential investors. Many were surprised to hear about what Javier had done. Some were skeptical, but others saw the fire in my eyes, the unwavering determination that burned within me. One of those people was Sarah, a venture capitalist who had previously expressed interest in Morales Tech Solutions. She saw my potential, my passion, and my proven track record. She believed in me, even when I doubted myself. Sarah became my mentor, my confidant, and my first investor. With her support, I started to develop a solid business plan for my new company, a company that would not only compete with Morales Tech Solutions but would surpass it in every way. The name? Phoenix Tech, rising from the ashes of betrayal. It was time to show Javier, and the world, what I was truly capable of. The fire had been lit, and I was ready to burn brighter than ever. Building Phoenix Tech from the ground up was a different beast than Morales Tech Solutions. This time, I wasn't just building a company, I was building a statement. A testament to my resilience, my skills, and my unwavering belief in myself. The early days were a whirlwind of coding, pitching, and networking. I hired a small team of talented developers, people who shared my vision and were willing to work tirelessly to make it a reality. We faced countless challenges. Funding was always tight, and competition was fierce. We were constantly battling established companies with deeper pockets and bigger marketing budgets. There were days when I felt overwhelmed, when I wondered if I had bitten off more than I could chew. But then I would remember Javier, his cold eyes, his betrayal, and the fire in my belly would reignite. I focused on innovation, developing cutting-edge software solutions that addressed the evolving needs of our clients. We offered personalized customer service, something Morales Tech Solutions had started to neglect under Javier's leadership. We listened to our clients, we adapted to their needs, and we went above and beyond to exceed their expectations. Slowly but surely, Phoenix Tech started to gain traction. We landed a few key clients, and our reputation began to grow. We won awards for our innovative technology and our commitment to customer satisfaction. We were disrupting the market, challenging the status quo, and making a name for ourselves. One of the biggest successes was landing a contract with a major national retailer, a contract that Morales Tech Solutions had been desperately trying to secure for years. It was a sweet victory, a validation of all the hard work and sacrifices we had made. I knew Javier would be furious when he found out. And that thought, more than anything else, fueled my determination to keep pushing forward, to keep innovating, and to keep building Phoenix Tech into a force to be reckoned with. The climb was steep, but the view from the top was going to be worth it. 2 years. It felt like a lifetime, yet also like a blink of an eye. Phoenix Tech had blossomed into a thriving company, a leader in its industry. We had expanded our team, opened new offices, and developed a reputation for innovation and excellence. I had proven to myself, and to the world, that I was more than capable of succeeding, even without Javier. But my focus wasn't solely on my own success. I kept a close eye on Morales Tech Solutions. Through industry whispers and discreet inquiries, I learned that Javier's leadership was faltering. He had become complacent, resting on the laurels of past successes. He failed to adapt to the changing market, neglecting innovation and customer service. His management style was autocratic, alienating employees and stifling creativity. The company that Javier had envisioned as a lasting legacy was slowly crumbling under his mismanagement. Key clients were leaving, profits were declining, and morale was at an all-time low. The whispers turned into shouts, and the shouts turned into headlines. Morales Tech Solutions was in trouble, deep trouble. I watched it all unfold with a mixture of satisfaction and a strange sense of sadness. Part of me felt vindicated, seeing Javier's hubris lead to his downfall. But another part of me felt a pang of regret, remembering the early days, the shared dreams, and the family legacy we had once strived to uphold. But those feelings were fleeting. The dominant emotion was still a burning desire for justice, for retribution. Javier had taken something precious from me, and he was now paying the price. But his suffering wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted to reclaim what was rightfully mine. I wanted to take back Morales Tech Solutions and show him what it truly meant to lead a company with vision, integrity, and respect. The opportunity was presenting itself, and I was ready to seize it. The news reports painted a grim picture: Morales Tech Solutions teetering on the brink of bankruptcy, stock prices plummeting, and investors scrambling to cut their losses. It was the opportunity one had been waiting for, the moment I had been working towards for 2 long years. Revenge was within reach, but it had to be executed flawlessly. I reached out to Sarah, my mentor and confidant, laying out my plan. She listened intently, her expression unreadable. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair and said, "Elena, this is risky. It could be incredibly satisfying, but it could also backfire spectacularly. Are you sure you're ready for this?" I nodded, my gaze unwavering. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. With Sarah's guidance, I assembled a team of lawyers, financial advisors, and acquisition specialists. We began to meticulously analyze Morales Tech Solutions' financial records, identifying their assets, liabilities, and vulnerabilities. We developed a comprehensive acquisition strategy, outlining every step of the process, from the initial offer to the final takeover. The plan was complex and multifaceted, involving shell corporations, proxy votes, and a carefully orchestrated media campaign. We had to be discreet, moving swiftly and silently to avoid alerting Javier or his inner circle. The element of surprise was crucial. I knew that acquiring Morales Tech Solutions wouldn't be easy. Javier would fight tooth and nail to protect his position, his company, and his ego. But I was prepared for the battle. I had the resources, the expertise, and the unwavering determination to succeed. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my legacy, restoring the company to its former glory, and proving to Javier that I was the better leader, the better innovator, and the better businessperson. The game was afoot, and I was ready to play. The acquisition began subtly, almost invisibly. Through a network of shell corporations and anonymous brokers, we started buying up shares of Morales Tech Solutions. A few shares here, a few shares there. It was like assembling a puzzle, piece by piece, without revealing the final picture. Each day, I would monitor the stock prices, tracking our progress. The numbers slowly climbed, inching closer to our target. It was a nerve-wracking process, filled with uncertainty and risk. We had to be careful not to trigger any alarms, to avoid attracting Javier's attention. There were close calls. A rumor surfaced that a potential buyer was circling Morales Tech Solutions, sending Javier into a frenzy. We had to accelerate our buying, taking on more risk to secure enough shares before he realized what was happening. The pressure was immense, the stakes incredibly high. I remember one particularly tense day when a large block of shares became available. We had to act fast, outbidding other potential buyers and securing the shares before they disappeared. It was a gamble, a significant investment that could have jeopardized the entire operation. But it paid off. We secured the shares, bringing us one step closer to our goal. As we accumulated more and more shares, the suspense grew. I could feel the power shifting, the control slowly slipping away from Javier. He was oblivious to what was happening, completely unaware that his company was being taken over from under him. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when we acquired the majority stake. We had done it. We controlled Morales Tech Solutions. The feeling was exhilarating, a mixture of triumph, relief, and a deep sense of satisfaction. But the game wasn't over yet. The real showdown was about to begin. I prepared myself to confront Javier, to reveal my ownership, and to finally deliver the blow he so richly deserved. The time for subtlety was over, it was time for the grand reveal. The next morning, I walked into Morales Tech Solutions, not as the ousted co-founder, but as the new owner. I had informed the board the night before, so they were expecting me. Javier, however, was not. He was in a meeting with his executive team, oblivious to the storm that was about to break. I strode into the conference room, my head held high, my gaze fixed on Javier. He looked up, a flicker of annoyance crossing his face. "Elena? What are you doing here?" "I believe introductions are in order," I said, my voice calm but firm. I nodded to one of my lawyers, who stepped forward and handed each person in the room a document. "These are official notifications that Phoenix Tech has acquired a majority stake in Morales Tech Solutions, effective immediately." A collective gasp filled the room. The executives exchanged bewildered glances, their faces etched with confusion and disbelief. Javier's face, however, was priceless. His jaw dropped, his eyes widened, and his complexion turned a shade of pale I had never seen before. What is this?" he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. "It means," I said, stepping closer to him, "that I own this company now." I watched as the realization dawned on him, as the weight of his failure crashed down upon him. The color drained from his face, leaving him looking ashen and defeated. He tried to regain his composure, to assert his authority, but it was too late. The power had shifted, the game had changed, and he was no longer in control. "This is impossible," he sputtered. "This can't be happening." "Oh, it's happening, Javier," I said, a hint of satisfaction creeping into my voice. "And it's only just beginning." The stunned silence in the room was deafening, broken only by Javier's ragged breathing. He looked around at his team, his eyes pleading for help, for support. But they were all too shocked to react, too stunned to comprehend the magnitude of what had just transpired. The reign of Javier Morales was officially over. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what I was about to do. I knew it was ruthless, perhaps even cruel, but I couldn't bring myself to care. Javier had shown me no mercy when he kicked me out of the company, and I wasn't about to offer him any now. "Effective immediately," I announced, my voice ringing with authority, "Javier Morales is terminated from his position as CEO of Morales Tech Solutions." The words hung in the air, heavy and final. The executives gasped, their eyes darting between Javier and me. He stood there, frozen in place, his face a mask of disbelief and humiliation. You can't do that," he stammered, his voice trembling. "Oh, but I can," I retorted, a cold smile playing on my lips. "As the majority shareholder, I have the power to make these decisions. And I've decided that your services are no longer required." I turned to the head of HR, who was standing near the door, looking pale and shaken. "Please escort Mr. Morales off the premises." 2 security guards appeared, flanking Javier on either side. He resisted at first, trying to argue, to plead, but it was no use. They gently but firmly guided him towards the door, his protests fading into the background. As he was being led away, he turned back to me, his eyes filled with a mixture of rage and despair. "You'll regret this, Elena," he spat. "You'll regret ever crossing me." I met his gaze, unflinching. "I doubt it, Javier. I doubt it very much." With that, he was gone, leaving behind a stunned and silent room. I turned to the remaining executives, my expression softening slightly. "Now then," I said, "let's get to work." The takeover was complete. I had reclaimed my company, and I was ready to lead it to a brighter future. The first order of business? Cleaning up the mess Javier had left behind. The following weeks were a blur of meetings, restructuring, and rebuilding. I worked tirelessly to revitalize Morales Tech Solutions, implementing new strategies, investing in innovation, and restoring employee morale. The company slowly began to recover, regaining its footing and showing signs of future growth. But even amidst the success, a nagging question lingered in my mind: was it worth it? Had the revenge I so desperately sought truly brought me the satisfaction I had envisioned? I often found myself staring out the window of my new office, the same office that Javier had occupied just weeks before, contemplating my actions. I had achieved my goal, I had proven my point, but the victory felt hollow, incomplete. The anger that had fueled me for so long had begun to dissipate, leaving behind a void, an emptiness that I couldn't quite fill. I had avenged myself, but at what cost? I had destroyed my relationship with my brother, perhaps irreparably. I thought about our childhood, the shared dreams, the family legacy we had once vowed to protect. Had I become the very thing I despised? Had I let revenge consume me, turning me into someone I didn't recognize? The answer, I feared, was yes. I had won the battle, but I had lost something far more valuable in the process, my sense of self. The road ahead was uncertain. I knew that rebuilding Morales Tech Solutions would be a long and arduous journey. But I also knew that I needed to rebuild myself, to find a way to forgive, to heal, and to move forward. The future held new challenges, new opportunities for growth and redemption. Perhaps, one day, I could even find a way to mend the broken bond with my brother. But for now, I had a company to run, a legacy to restore, and a long, hard look in the mirror to face. The story wasn't over, it was just the beginning of a new chapter.